Our first position comes from round one of the tournament. I'm playing a guy named Adam Snakers, and he played the move d6, trying to prevent my move pawn to e5. And this is where the first brilliant move comes in. You guys can pause the video if you want to solve it. And for those who just want to enjoy the move, I play pawn to e5 anyway. And the idea is that after takes, I now play knight to e4. And I ask Mr. Adam, what are you going to do with this bishop? If he moves the bishop away, I'm going to take this pawn on g7. If he tries to defend the bishop, I'm going to attack his queen twice, and he's going to lose the bishop. And also, he can't castle because that's just a free bishop. So, my opponent tried pawn takes pawn. Now I took his bishop, and after takes back, queen to g7, he took my bishop, and the game ended in 5 moves from here. I have a very nice tactic. I'll just show you guys quickly. Check, queen h8 again, and now the final move, very easy to see this one. Rook takes f7, king takes, queen h7, and here he resigned because I'm just gonna win his queen. Our second position comes from round two. I'm playing a guy named Ushindi Malaba with a rating of around about 1700. And in this position, I played a very subtle move. I played the move king to g7. And these are my favorite moves in chess. Moves that look like they do absolutely nothing. But there's a crazy idea behind them. And you guys are going to see why king to g7 is so important. So my opponent took the pawn on e4, and now this is where brilliant move number 2 comes. Rook takes c3, and the idea is simple that if he takes, I will now play knight takes e4, and I'm just forking the guy. And you guys can see why it's so important for my king to be on g7. If my king was not on g7, this tactic would not work, because my opponent would be able to take with a check, and now move his queen away, and white would, I'm still doing okay, but white is surviving from a worse position. So I really like this move, king to g7, because I knew my opponent's going to blunder this. And a funny story about this game, after he did this, this is what happened in the game. He took the pawn on f5, and then if I take his rook, he's going to play f6 check and win my queen. So I just took the pawn back, and now he took with the queen. And in this position, I looked at the guy and I was like, come on, can you resign? I want to go watch the Cricket World Cup final. And he actually did resign a few moves later, so I got to watch the last 20 overs. So that was a nice story about this game. Brilliant move number 3 comes from round number 3. My opponent in this position played queen b2, trying to get out of some discovery with these two rooks. And here I have a very simple tactic. I would encourage you guys to pause the video and try to solve it. I did actually post this tactic on social media, and a lot of people were struggling for some reason, trying some knight g5 or something like that. But this tactic is really, really simple. Don't overthink it too much. And I think I've given you guys enough time to pause. In this position, I played the very simple move, bishop takes d5. And you guys can see my opponent is forced to take back with the knight, because if he took with the pawn or with the rook, I am going to take his knight on e7. So he is forced to take back with the knight, and then I just play knight to e5, and there's no way to stop this. He tried the move king h7, and I just go knight to f7. I think what he did calculate is that he might have rook g6 here, threatening the mate, but I will simply play rook to f2, and after the queen moves, I will now take the rook. So that is brilliant move number 3. Stay tuned for the next one. Brilliant move number 4 comes from my game in round 5. I'm playing a guy with the surname of Chetia, and in this position he played bishop to e5, and I have to be very, very careful. For instance, if I take this bishop, it's just checkmate one time. Wow, I'm just getting completely checkmated. So I have to be very, very careful. But I do have a tactic, and I would encourage you guys again to pause the video and to solve this. While I wait for you guys to pause, let me give you a little story about this game. While I'm preparing for this game, I searched my opponent's name into Google and I was like, oh wow, this guy's an engineer, how cool. And then I went on to his LinkedIn profile and everything, and I ended up spending more time checking this guy's LinkedIn profile than I did preparing for the game, which I think is pretty funny. If you guys also do stuff like that, let me know in the comments. But I've given you guys enough time to think about this. And the nice tactic is rook to d8. And after bishop takes g7, king g7, queen to e5, I play the move pawn to f6. And now this queen is way, way overworked. It has to deal with the threats of rook takes e7 and the threat of queen takes c5. Also, if the queen goes to c7, I will just play rook d7 and win this way. So in the game, what happened was queen takes e6, queen takes c5, rook to e1 to protect the knight, but he resigned after my next move, rook d2. I'm just threatening checkmates as well as the knight. On to the final brilliant move. I'll see you guys there. Brilliant move number 5 comes from my game against FM Benele. In this position, he played rook to c5, and my eyes lit up. I thought he blundered. I thought I'm going to play bishop d3, and I'm going to win in exchange like this. But I realized that if I play bishop to d3, he will play queen to f3, and actually, it's me who is in trouble after this. He's threatening queen to f6, which is just a checkmate threat. So I cannot play bishop to d3, so I played bishop to d5, hoping to get rid of my c6 pawn somehow. Something like this, for example. But Benele played queen to c2, takes, and now this is where brilliant move number 5 comes in. An endgame masterpiece, I must say. And you guys have to look at the threat of Benele. He's going to go rook to c1, double on the c file, and it's going to be very, very difficult for me to defend this pawn. So I played very nice move, pawn to e5, completely sacrificing a pawn. If he does nothing about this, I will just take. If he takes with the pawn, his rook is hanging. So he played rook takes, and now I play c5. And you guys can see that this position is a lot nicer to play than this one. Even though I'm sacrificing a pawn, I get rid of my very, very bad pawn, and all my pieces become super active. And I will just show you guys a few moves later what happened. We got to a position like this where I had 3 pawns and he had 4 pawns, and I had absolutely no problem drawing this, even though Benele played for like another 50 moves here. And I was gonna just include my brilliant moves, but I decided that, you know, I will also include brilliant moves that were played against me, because if you're a lover of chess, you're a lover of all brilliant moves. So stay tuned for two extra positions bonus for you guys. How nice am I? Here is the final brilliant move, the added extra for this video. In this position, I was unfortunately playing with the white pieces. So you're gonna see the brilliant move that Keith Kumalo played against me to win this game. And it's a very nice move. In this position, he played rook to d2, putting a lot of pressure on my f2 pawn and trying to go bishop c5. So I played the move rook to c6 to prevent the bishop from coming to this square. And now Keith ended it off in style here with rook takes f2. And you guys can see that I cannot take this rook because bishop h4 check, and he will win my queen and the game. And also, I thought, I might have potentially queen h1, but he will just play rook f1 check and win my queen again. So good move from him. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please remember to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before I'm just trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'll see you guys on the next video.